Today's tip of the week is how to take emotion out of investing, out of real estate investing. How we have been in this game a long time, and when we approach an investment property, we use very little emotion. We lead by the numbers, we lead by the analysis. What we try to get our clients to do is follow suit and take that emotion out of a buy or a sell.
Yeah, so this is one of the hardest things for investors to accomplish. We got to be honest, and that's why Tim and I have been so successful. And now Carl has come on board, but since 2016, we don't get emotional about the purchases. We run the numbers. We make sure that the quality is there. If the quality is not there, we make sure we're getting the property at the right price to accommodate that quality. And then we're looking at all aspects of the investment property. We're not just looking at it, Tim, for someone to move into and maybe move out. We're looking at it as a long-term investment. And Tim, that is the difference between what we do and say, just buying and selling real estate.
Yeah, we look at every property as investment. Even if you're moving into it, even if it's going to be your forever home, we want that property to show you some returns, even if you're not going to sell it for 20 years. We want to maximize that return, and we figure that out before the buy.
Yeah, and you know what? The clients really enjoy that because we help them make the decision. We cut it off. We actually cut the price off. If it's going into multiple offers and we know that, if we're going above $670,000 with today's interest rates and 20% down, if we know $1 over that won't cash flow and our client cannot handle that within their portfolio or their day-to-day job, we will not go down that road. And our clients, Tim, are so happy that they've got someone like that.
Yeah, and when you're renovating or doing the BRRR strategy or some other type adding value to the property, we teach you to not get emotional about it. If it's a rental property, look, you're not going to turn it into a palace. You're going to turn it into the best rentable property with the most demand that you can for a reasonable price, so you don't get over emotional about the amount.
Yeah. For example, we just bought Fiona and Brad a property in Ogden. Congrats to those guys. And this property is a real piece of work. We'll be doing videos on this one. But Brad was telling us he would come in there. If he didn't have us, he would go in there and just rip the whole place apart. And Tim really had to tell you, look, it's already a legal suite of property. We're buying this for a future build down the road, and it's already achieving the rents that we need. So there's no need to go in and rip it all apart. So we hold our clients accountable. We set the budget. We tell them what kind of renovations to do. And the other thing we do is we delay gratification. We have some clients that want they want to move into maybe an $800,000-900,000 home to start off with. But if they're just starting off and we know money is an issue and deposits are an issue, we will actually delay gratification, take the emotion out of it, and ask them if they can move into a condo or move into a townhouse or a smaller starter home, because that way they can conserve on putting only 5% down. So they're conserving on their cash. And you know what? They can move up and buy properties quicker, and it's going to be less stress on them.
Yeah, and another thing to take the emotion out of is your tenant selection. And that goes right up to increasing the rents on tenants. It's a rental property. It's a small business. What you want to do is have your revenues cover your expenses. So when you're putting tenants in there, take the emotion out of it. Put the best qualified tenant in there, the one that you think is going to pay the rent on time, every time, and take care of the place. No emotions. You just got to look after the place and pay the rent.
Yeah, and the other thing we see, which amazes us, is that landlords get emotional with the tenants once they've moved in. And when it comes time to selling, some landlords won't even want to sell and put it on the market because they're disturbing the tenants. So what Tim and I have had to do, because we sell lots and lots of rental properties to our clients on and off the market, we've had to really be able to work with tenants, okay? And then sometimes we have to lay down the law. I'm dealing with that in Coach Hill right now. And the tenant team really just wanted me to abide by the rules, which I believe we did. But at the end of the day, we've got our rights, the landlord has his rights, and everybody has to understand that. So we're not afraid to say, look, we're going to take over, we're going to deal with the tenants, we're going to give them as much notice as possible, and group showings if we can, and make it as pleasant as possible with selling the property with tenants in there. So, you know what, we wanted to put it out there. Don't be emotional, especially when it comes to investing. And if the aim, even if you're moving into a property, don't get too emotional about that first property if the numbers make sense moving forward.
Yeah. So that's our tip of the week. If you want to subscribe to more tip of the weeks, just subscribe below.